If motivation actually worked, you wouldn't be stuck right now. You wouldn't be drowning in your to-do list while binge watching your 8th Get Your Life Together video. You won't be still waiting for that perfect moment to get your life moving. Let me break it down. You don't have a motivation problem, you have an ignition problem. Why? Because motivation is like a cheap cologne, strong for 5 minutes and then woof, gone with the wind. Have you ever wondered why certain people completely change their lives? They quit their job, move across the world, lose 50 pounds, start businesses they have been talking about decades. They didn't find motivation. Something ignited inside them. It is like they found a key to their engine. It wasn't an IG quote or a podcast. It was emotional combustion, a breaking point that flipped a switch. In this video, I am going to show you why relying on motivation is secretly keeping you stuck and how emotional ignition, that raw, real fire inside you, is what actually makes people take scary, permanent action. We are not talking about morning routines or pep talks. We are talking about way deeper than that. By the end of this video, you are going to understand yourself in a way most people never do. And yeah, this might sting a little, but that's exactly the point. So let's get into it. Motivation feels good, right? That hit of energy after watching a hype video. You stand up, ready to conquer the entire world. And then what? You scroll, you overthink again and again. Because motivation is a trap, a temporary spike that tricks your brain into feeling productive without actually doing anything. Let's be real. If motivation was reliable, your New Year's resolution would have lasted longer than your gym membership. You would already be that version of you by now. The problem is, motivation is mood-based. It's dopamine, it's sort of vibes. It's dependent on how sunny it is, how bright it is, how much sleep you got, or whether your phone is fully charged or not. But life isn't built on vibes. It's built on hard, uncomfortable repetitions. It's built when you do the thing, especially when you don't want to do. And here is the kicker. Motivation actually makes you weaker over time. Because the more you rely on it, the less you build muscle of doing things when you don't feel like it. It's like trying to build a house on vibes and inspiration. Cute, but it will collapse the moment real life hits. People wait for motivation to go to therapy, to launch that brand, to leave that relationship they know is draining them, and they never do because they are waiting to feel ready. But readiness is a myth. It never comes. Life doesn't RSVP, and the more you wait, the heavier your life feels. What you need isn't another motivation playlist. It's to understand what's really stopping you and to light a match under it. That's where ignition begins. So, if motivation isn't it, what is? It's emotional ignition. And it's exactly what creates unstoppable momentum. Emotional ignition is that moment when the pain of staying the same becomes louder than the pain of changing. It's not a vibe, it's not hype, it's a deep internal combustion that flips a switch in your brain. It's raw, it's personal, it's real. It's the night someone looks in the mirror and breaks down crying. Not because they are weak, but because they realize they are done living like this. It's the day someone gets rejected, humiliated, overlooked, and instead of quitting, they say, never again. It's that moment when something clicks and you decide, this is not who I am anymore. It's not being dramatic, it's about hitting an emotional truth so deep, so undeniable that your brain can no longer tolerate inaction. Unlike motivation, ignition doesn't wait for the perfect playlist or the right lighting or the stars to align. It comes from your lowest, your brightest regrets, your loudest inner voice, and finally being heard. When you ignite that fire, everything changes. Not gradually, but instantly. It's like a rocket launch. The energy isn't endless. It sends you into a new orbit. It gives you the momentum. You stop needing to be motivated because you have decided, and the decision carries weight because it came from your soul, not a 30-second reel. Everyone who's ever made a massive change didn't just get inspired, they got ignited. They felt in their gut, in their bones, in the parts of themselves that don't post online. So the question is, what's going to ignite you? That's what we are going to figure out. So let's get real. Emotional ignition isn't a cool concept. It's backed by biology and it's everywhere once you know what to look for. Let me give you 3 quick stories. First one is of Sarah. Sarah is 29. She talked about starting her own business for years, bought her courses, listened to the podcast, journaled her intentions 100 times, but nothing changed. She then got laid off. Total shock. She then sat in her car crying and panicking. And then it hit her. That job, it wasn't her dream. It was her pretty excuse. That pain flipped a switch. She launched her brand 7 days later. No backup, no plan, just fire. Second, James, 19 years old, overweight, depressed, addicted to gaming, barely leaving house. His little sister looked at him in the eye one day and said, "You don't even try anymore." That coming from his little sister broke him. Not because it was mean, because it was true. That sentence echoed in his head the entire night. He then started running at 5 a.m. in silence, not because he was motivated, but because he couldn't be that person his little sisters looked down on anymore. Third, Maya, 35 years old, in a toxic relationship for nearly a decade. Friends begged her to leave, but she stayed until her daughter asked, "Is this how love is supposed to feel?" That single question ignited years of suppressed pain. Maya packed a bag next morning, no speeches, no drama, just clarity. The pain turned into power. Do you see the pattern? It's not motivation, it's untapped emotion. According to science, real change starts in limbic system, the emotional brain, not the rational logical part. That's why facts rarely move us, but feelings launch revolutions. Neuroscience shows that emotionally intense moments, especially ones involving identity, shame, or love, can actually rewire your brain. They recreate what's called a limbic spike that triggers long-term behavior change. That's ignition. It's why trauma survivors often rebuild their lives with superhuman drive. It's why the rock bottom often becomes the launch pad. It's why deepest breakdowns becomes breakthroughs. So how do you create your own ignition moment without needing to hit the rock bottom first? Here is the truth. You don't need a breakdown to have a breakthrough, but you do need to get radically honest. Let me break it down. First, find your emotional pressure point. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating that is slowly killing my potential? What patterns am I stuck in that I would be ashamed to admit out loud? Don't just journal about your goals, journal about your resentments, the things you secretly hate about your life, the stuff that makes you anxious, bitter, checked out. That's where fire starts. Try this. Write down the version of yourself you're afraid of becoming, the life you don't want. Be vivid. The job you hate to stay in, the relationship that trains you, the slow, invisible decay of your confidence. Then flip it. Visualize the cost of inaction, not the dream, the price. Ask yourself, what does it cost me to stay the same every day? Think emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. When the pain of staying stuck becomes unignorable, ignition begins. Now anchor it. Pick one thing you have been avoiding and take action today. Send the email, break the habit, block the number, cancel the subscription, book the appointment. It doesn't have to be massive, it just has to be real. Because ignition is not about having the perfect plan, it's about interrupting your pattern before your pattern becomes your prison. And here is the trick. Emotional triggers can be tools. Use music that give you goosebumps. Reread the text that broke you. Look at the old pictures of yourself when you still believed anything was possible and ask, what would that version of me think of this? Let that version of you wake you up. Because once you are ignited, you don't need motivation. You stop performing and start becoming. You start acting from truth, not from pressure, but from clarity. You become someone who moves, even through resistance. Someone who stops waiting for the perfect moment and creates one. And that's the real beginning of momentum. So, you don't need motivation, you need ignition. Motivation gradually fades. It waits for the mood, it plays safe. But ignition, it's raw, emotional. It flips your entire identity in one silent, savage moment. If you're stuck right now, it's not because you're lazy, it's because your fire hasn't been lit. So ask yourself, what pain are you avoiding? What truth are you not admitting? What version of you that needs to die so real you can finally show up? That's where it starts. Not with another self-help book, not with another YouTube video. It starts with you getting uncomfortable enough to move through. No fluff, no fake hype, just truth. And if this hits home, even a little, don't keep it to yourself. Drop your ignition moment in the comments. Tell us what's the one lie you have been believing. What's the thing you're finally going to do. Let this be the start of something. Like, subscribe, send this to someone who is sleepwalking through life. Visit the link in the bio to download a free quiz to see if you are ignited enough to have real conversation that actually move the needle. You have waited long enough. Now, move.